Prologue. The first glimpse the cold air of Manali carried the scent of pine and damp earth as Aryan Mehta sipped his coffee on the balcony of his hilltop Airbnb. The mountains stretched endlessly, their mist-covered peaks blending into the morning sky. It was another perfect escape. Another work-from-home vacation. Aryan had been living the dream, earning in lakhs, working from the most scenic places in India, and enjoying his freedom. But something had changed. This was the fifth time in the last 3 months that he had seen her. The same girl. Long black hair, hypnotic green eyes, and skin pale as moonlight. No matter where he went, he would catch a glimpse of her. A fleeting eye contact at a cafe in Shimla. A momentary sighting in a crowded market in Nainital. A silent presence in the background of a temple in Rishikesh. And now, in Manali, she was here again, standing at the far end of the street, staring at him. She didn't smile. She didn't move. She just watched. For the first time in his life, Aryan felt something unfamiliar. A feeling he couldn't shake. Fear. The wanderer's life, Aryan, was a man of control. His life was perfectly sorted. No complications. No unnecessary attachments. No emotional baggage. He was sharp-minded, a calculated risk-taker, and someone who always planned his next step. Whether it was his career, relationships, or travels, everything was about efficiency and enjoyment. After the pandemic, the concept of permanent remote work gave him the opportunity to travel while working, and he embraced it fully. Each city was a new adventure. Each hill station, a new home for a few days. But now, this girl was everywhere, and he needed to know why. The first encounter that evening, Aryan decided to confront her. He saw her at a local bookstore near the mall road. She was standing by the window, running her fingers across the spines of the books, her long hair falling over her face. Aryan took a deep breath and walked toward her. "Excuse me," he said, his voice casual yet firm. The girl turned slowly, too slowly. Her green eyes locked onto his. For a moment, Aryan forgot how to breathe. "Do we know each other?" he asked. The girl smiled, a small, eerie curve of her lips. "Not yet." Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "But we will." Then, without another word, she turned and walked away. Aryan stood frozen, his heart hammered. Her words echoed in his mind. "Not yet, but we will." What the hell did that mean? And why did her voice feel so familiar? The investigation begins that night. Aryan couldn't sleep. He searched through his old travel photos, trying to find any trace of her. And then, he found it. A picture from his trip to Nainital, taken 3 months ago. In the corner of the frame, standing among the crowd, was the girl. She wasn't looking at the camera. She was looking directly at him. Aryan felt his stomach twist. How had he not noticed her before? And then he checked another picture from his trip to McLeod Ganj. She was there, a blurred figure in the background. And another. And another. She had been following him all along. But why? The vanishing Airbnb determined to get answers. Aryan decided to track her down. He went back to the bookstore the next day, but it was closed. Confused, he asked a nearby vendor about the shop. The man gave him a strange look. "That bookstore shut down 5 years ago," he said. Aryan stiffened. "No, I was there last night. I spoke to a girl inside." The vendor's expression turned cold. "You must be mistaken, sir. No one has been inside that place for years." Aryan felt the world tilt beneath him. And then, he noticed something. The hotel across the street, the one with the large green sign. It was gone. Not abandoned. Not under construction. It simply didn't exist anymore. As if it had never been there in the first place. The call from the dead that night. Aryan received a call from an unknown number. His heart pounded as he picked up. "Hello." Silence. Then, "Aryan." It was her voice. "Stop searching for me. Who are you?" Aryan demanded. But the line went dead. A chill crawled up his spine. She called him by name. And then, his phone screen glitched. For a brief second, the image of the girl flashed on his screen. Her face pale, her eyes empty. And then, the screen turned black. Aryan felt true fear for the first time in his life. He was no longer in control. The forgotten memory determined to find the truth. Aryan reached out to his college friend, Rishi, a tech expert. "Bro, I need you to trace a number for me." Rishi agreed, and an hour later, he called back, but his voice was shaking. "Aryan, that number, it belongs to a woman named Avni Rathore." Aryan frowned. "Who is that?" Rishi hesitated. "She died 3 years ago." The world spun. "What?" "She went missing in Shimla. Her body was never found." Aryan felt the air leave his lungs. Avni Rathore, the girl with the green eyes, the girl who had been following him, the girl who wasn't alive. The final warning. Aryan had to get out of Manali. He packed his bags and booked the earliest flight back to Delhi. But as he waited in his hotel lobby, the power went out. The temperature dropped, and then he saw her, standing right outside the glass doors, staring at him. This time, she wasn't alone. Behind her stood shadows, dozens of figures, their faces hidden. And then, the lobby door creaked open. A whisper crawled through the air. "You can't run, Aryan." His vision blurred. His legs gave out. And then, everything went black.